What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing them the bacon NBA DFS video. It is Sunday. It is March 31st. We are back with a video. We've got more games than we had yesterday, and we are ready to rock and roll. If you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently here. Hopefully you're in for a treat. You have two ways every single day to win some sort of pass from FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. One way, like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment for the comment picker. If it is in there, you have a chance to win. If we get 50 likes, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. If it gets 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. 125 likes is a chance to win a free year. 150 or more likes, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass. And one person won a lifetime pass for opening day for MLB. We can still do that here with NBA. The second way to do it, and you can win twice, like I said, like the video and be a subscriber, and tell me who is going to score the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points on this slate, and how many fantasy points are they going to score. Closest without going over will win a free week of FTA Plus. If you get it exactly correct, we've only ever had one person get it exactly correct, you will win a monthly pass to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So definitely check it out. If you're unlucky on the wins, you still have a chance. So FTA Plus right now is $24.99 a month. Sports betting plus DFS. With the yearly pass, today is the last day, and then it's gone forever. FTA Plus, a yearly pass, normally $199. Use the promo code MLBVIP, all one word, all capital letters. Instead of $199, you will get it for $75. Last day is today. So, looking at NBA, we built a lineup yesterday. Now, initially, when we build these lineups on this channel, things will change throughout the day. Value opens up. Pat Bev was a huge value play for us. Brandon Clark let us down. We built that lineup, and then the lineup we put on the website, 341, let's see. It ended up, for DraftKings, being, I played in the $4 entry, 4-point play, spent a total of $146. So the lineup we built yesterday on the channel got $298, won $6, so won $2 off of the 4. The one we built later on in the day, 341.5, got 10th place out of however many, $40 to top. So 10 times my value there. So the plays we give you in this start right here is the beginning. So what I mean by that is news will come out throughout the day, and we'll look at DraftKings. We'll see there are a bunch of questionable tags that we're still waiting on some news and notes to come off of. So once those questionable tags either go to probable or out, that'll open up value. In the description of this video will be today's article that coincides with what we're talking about. At each position, we'll have 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value. The value does change throughout the day. So in the description of this video is also our Discord channel where we give you value plays. We also give you core plays before the lineups lock. And we have a ton of information, which you can see right here all the way down. Makes a lot of sense. Vegas odds, bets, simulations. We do 20,000 simulations a day for both Fanduel and DraftKings for all the sports that we have. It's really helped for MLB. It's been helping you guys out for NBA as well. So a lot of things we have on the site. You need to check if you want. Maybe check them out. If you go look at the other videos in the comments, a lot of people have been loving what we brought. To start the MLB season, we've been absolutely on fire right now. And we hope to continue to bring that to you. So everything is in the description of this video. DFS Hero is what we've also partnered up with for their lineup optimizer. And if you sign up using our link, you'll get 15% off your first order. But not only that, you sign up for a month and you go through the free trial, and then you actually sign up for the month and the payment goes through, we will give you a free month of FTA Plus. You sign up for the year, we're going to give you a free year on top of that as well. So that being said, we do have some games. We have the Vegas numbers out. We're going to try something a little bit different here. We're going to go through the games, look at the players, and then we're going to build a lineup using one of our tools, NBA points allowed by position. So looking at the Vegas odds real quick, we've got Miami versus Washington as of right now. Miami's a 10.5-point favorite. Money line is 550, so a pretty damn big money line. 216 over-under, so a lower over-under. But yeah, Washington gives up a ton, and you'll see what they give up. We got Clippers versus Hornets. We got Clippers at minus 15.5 right now. 214.5 over-under. Huge spread, low over-under. That scares me. Like I've been saying in all of our other videos, I'm playing very light. Normally, a normal day, I'm playing 20 lineups, like a $21 lineups or something like that. Last night I played 2. So we look at that. It's because the teams that are in the playoffs, they're kind of resting their guys. A lot of people are getting maintenance and time off. You can kind of see. So the first 2, huge spreads. And then we get to Philly versus Toronto. Philly are a 10.5-point favorite, 218.5 over-under. So right off the bat, the first 3 games are massive blowout potential factors. So if you don't get the right players, you might get screwed over pretty big here. Then we got the Lakers versus Brooklyn. Lakers being a 5.5-point favorite, 224.5 over-under. We've got New York Knicks versus Thunder. Knicks 2.5-point favorite, 215.5 over-under. Golden State versus San Antonio. Golden State's an 8.5-point favorite, 227.5 over-under. Then we got Chicago Bulls versus Timberwolves. We got Timberwolves being an 8.5-point favorite, which is wild. Only a 212.5 over-under. Dallas, Houston. We've got actually Dallas only 1.5-point favorite right now. 230.5 over-under. So finally we're getting over-under there. Then the final game, Utah versus Sacramento. Sacramento being a 13.5-point favorite, 224.5. Personally, myself, I'm probably focusing mainly on baseball. Play a little bit. We also have NASCAR, so definitely check out that yearly pass includes all the sports that we offer. So PGA, NASCAR, MLB, NBA, NFL once it comes back. So out of all of these games, there are a ton of blowout factors that we need to take into effect when trying to build some lineups, and that's okay. So we'll go here. We'll look at these. So Luka being questionable. I mean, there's a lot of questionable guys. So we'll go game by game real quick. Just touch on the players that make sense, players that are in or out. We'll go. So Embiid being out and quickly being out. Like the people are being out. You know who they are. Jonte getting, just betting on everyone and listing. Yeah, he's probably done for the NBA. For sure. We used him on March 20th. Before he got not arrested but stopped, and yeah, he got screwed over. And DraftKings didn't respond to me when I asked if we were getting our money back because he threw the game. He literally threw the game. There's proof. So yeah, but anyway, you guys know in these games the plays that make sense. Tyrese Maxey makes sense. RJ Barrett if he's in there makes sense. Kelly Olynyk makes sense. Tobias Harris. We've got to find the value plays here, especially in games that might be blowouts. So we come down a little bit. Paul Reed I like a little bit. Grady Dick a little bit. Mo Bamba. It really depends on what center's going to happen and what the minutes are going to be. Mo Bamba, 4,500. He's been getting 28 and 30 fantasy points, which would be perfect. So the target, and if you've never been here before or you have, you know what I'm going to say. The target minimum salary value you're looking for is about 7 times value at the bare minimum. So looking at that, Paul Reed, or let's just say Mo Bamba, 4,500. So you take 4,500 times 7. The minimum he needs is about 31.5. You can find other value in lower guys and be okay with that, but that's kind of just like in your mind, think about that. So another one would be Buddy Hield a little bit more value. Freeman Liberty I would look at. Jordan Mora here I'd look at. Nicholas Batum is probably as low as I would go in this game here. Next game, Miami versus Washington. We know Washington gives up a ton. Absolutely love Adebayo here. He's got a fantastic matchup. Jimmy Butler, Rozier, we know. If Duncan Robinson's still out, we know that. Flip side of that, though, if they are going to be behind so big, someone needs to score for Washington. Corey Kispert I'm looking at. Marvin Bagley I'm looking at for sure, especially if Riqwon Holmes is out. You could look at Jared Butler. It hasn't really done much. He's playing 20 minutes, but he hasn't done much with the games. But yeah, I'm for sure probably looking at Bagley and up here, and everyone is in play. We just got a lot of questionable tags. We got some outs as well. If Kuzma is questionable, let's see. Heel injury. He's got blue hair. Is that blue hair or is that just weird lighting? After the Jimmy Butler picture on FanDuel, I can never tell. So, I mean, you look at this. Splits-wise, he's faced Miami 3 times this year, averaging 35.1 minutes per game. Averaging 34.4 fantasy points per game as well. So, he's faced him before. He's made sense. If he's in, I do like him playing from behind. But again, we don't know who's going to be in or out here. Lakers versus Brooklyn. I mean, AD and LeBron are going to have that questionable tag every single day. You already know this. They're going to play. Oh, now he's got a knee issue. Shocker. But anyway, I mean, they lost to Indy in that one. It was a lower scoring game. They only put up 90, which is wild. Knee injury, probably AD. I'm a little bit scared of that. We've got, he's going to be on there. Has not really performed well. If AD is out, LeBron makes a lot of sense. If AD's in, you could find value. You could be looking at D'Angelo Russell. In that same games, he didn't really do much in that one. We did use Austin Reeves in that game against Indy, put up 42.75. We went down even further and we looked at Hachimura here. He 15. He really let us down after a 55 burger there. Spencer Dinwiddie, up and down. You never know what you're going to get out of him. 41 here, 17, 28, 7. I probably don't trust him even. The only way I would trust Dinwiddie is if both AD and LeBron were both out early into this game. So honestly, looking down here, a lot of people make sense. I don't know if I trust AD. LeBron really hasn't done much either. I would still look at Austin Reeves, Cam Thomas, D'Angelo Russell, Bridges, Claxton, Schroeder. You want some value, maybe Taurean Prince. Value, though, you gotta, he's playing 15. He's not doing anything with these minutes is the problem. Probably off of Prince. So, yeah. Is Cam Reddish doing anything? He's not doing anything either. So, in this matchup, Trenton Wofford, you look at him. We've been using him lately, 26 plus here, 3,600. So, got a great matchup here. Trenton Wofford might be one of my favorite value plays on the entire slate. But again, you guys know, the upper guys didn't, all of these plays. So we're trying to bring you different plays that you might not be thinking about off the top of your head. Clippers being here against Charlotte. What was the over-under? 15.5. So that is what scares me a little bit. Like Kawhi, James Harden, Paul George. These are all very expensive people. If they go up big, they probably sit. So we need to find value. What value are we looking for? Is Russell Westbrook back already? He is back. Didn't he break his hand? Oh, he's been back a couple of days. Weird. He's 4,800. Russell Westbrook would make a ton of sense. Would not be surprised if they go up big early and then Westbrook stays in. He could see some big minutes. But if they want to rest him because of his hand, I completely understand. Norman Powell would make a lot of sense for the Clippers. Terrence Mann would make a lot of sense. Amir Coffey, if he gets some run here, you could see at 3,200, even if he gets, just 6 times value, he's still bringing it pretty big there, which I would absolutely love for that. So those would be ones. Mason Plumlee, Bones Highland would be ones that you could look at if, in fact, the game script goes exactly as planned and they are up that big. But again, you're still using Nick Richards, we're using this bud, 5,200. Yeah, we'd use him. The minutes are there. We know what we're going to get out of him, especially on the flip side if they are down big. I don't know how to say his name, Michich. If you know how to say it, let me know. But I would use him, Nick Richards, Grant Williams. I would use all these guys, especially if they're going to be down big early. Golden State versus San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama. So he had was it 40-20? 40.20 rebound, 83 fantasy points, absolute domination in there. Was 2 nights ago, so we should be good to go with him. Steph, his price keeps coming down, or it's under 9K. I don't know what I'm going to get out of him. That's the problem. We know the minutes are going to be there. We need more fantasy points out of him. Devin Vassell makes a lot of sense. With Sokin out, Trace Jackson Davis, we've used him again for tournaments. I don't mind him coming off back-to-back 30-plus games. 5,900. I love that. Wiggins I would look at. Tyus Jones or Trey Jones I would look at. Chris Paul, a little bit cheaper at 5,400, coming off 31.75. I don't mind him. I think I'd kind of like Paul over Steph Curry just for the price difference. And then just to coming down here a little bit, Podziemski, Moses Moody. We've talked about Malachi Branham a lot, and it's usually if Victor is out, I would use him. With Victor being in, even at 3,500, he's really not hitting value that we need. That's probably as low as I would go. Would be you could look at Julian Champagny. I know that's not how you say his name, but that's how we say it. 3,900, under 4K. I don't mind him at all. It's probably him and up for me here. And then Klay Thompson's quite. If Klay's out, then Draymond Green is a boost to me, along with like Kuminga. There's a lot of questionable tags that we're waiting on. But the making of this video, these are questionable and not out yet. Maybe by the time you watch it, they'll be ruled out. I don't know. So the OKC New York Knicks game, Brunson is obviously a fantastic option here. All the way down. McBride did let us down. Was it Friday? Yeah. At 5,800, let us down at 22 fantasy points. Played 46 minutes. Didn't do anything with it. With Jalen Brunson being back, Miles McBride is usually relegated down to off my list now. Precious, I would look at Lou Dort. Cason Wallace is one of our favorite value plays of like any time, any player right now. 4,100, I do like that. Dropped him down. I love me some Cason Wallace today. That's probably it. I mean, you guys know the other people we're going to be using. Brunson, yes. Miles McBride, out. And then the rest, we can build a lineup around. Go to the next game, Chicago versus Minnesota. Anthony Edwards questionable. He's on this list every single time. Left a little bit hurt against Detroit in a game that they won. Played 39 minutes. I mean, the minutes are going to be there for him. He's got a great matchup that I like. I'm looking at Anthony Edwards with Towns being out. Naz Reid has been the starter. It just he hasn't, he's got those bad games under his belt here. So we'll definitely take a look. He's another option I'd look at. A couple other valuer, ish options would be Andre Drummond, McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Torrey Craig. I would look at 3,300. The minutes, if he could get 15 to 20 minutes, 3,300, huge value. But I just don't know if he's going to hit that number. And that's probably it. I don't want to go any lower than that unless other news comes out with all these other bigger names out. Then some value will open up. So that's why I tell you, watch these videos. You need to check out the website. You need to check out the Discord because throughout the day, a lot of value opens up when these guys are actually ruled out. Then we got Dallas versus Houston. Obviously, Luka's big. Got a questionable tag, though. He is hurt. So maybe if you don't want to pay up for him, pay up for Victor instead. But yeah, Jalen Green, Kyrie, all the way down. You know what we're going to get out of them. The value we're looking for, Dante Exum, would be huge if Luka is out for whatever reason. Would be a massive pull. Derek Jones Jr., kind of the same thing. If he is out, we could be looking at 20 minutes, 20-plus fantasy points. At 3,400 would be a perfect value. Same thing with Maxi Kleber. It will all just depend on the value that opens up throughout the day whenever we get to that. So, that being said, we are going to build a lineup using one of our tools. This is not the only lineup. This may not even be the final form of this lineup, but we are going to build it using one of our tools. Okay, so I've had questions, but here's how we read this, and this is how we're going to build around. So, looking at this, you want to look at position by position. So, with DraftKings, we're looking at the teams and how many fantasy points they give up. So, as you can see, the San Antonio Spurs give up the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points to the opposing point guard, being 54.7 fantasy points per game. So we look at that. So we want to come back here, and we want to look at point guard. And then we want to go to San Antonio, which is Golden State. So I believe they just played not too long ago. Maybe not. Am I wrong? Was it a while ago, or did he not play? But splits wise, he's played one game against them this year, 35 points per game, got 50.3 fantasy points, which is perfect at his price. Looking at all of these, we can kind of build around that. So he's had success against them this year so far, and they give up the most amount of fantasy points. So that's one way to look at this chart. So we go to the next one. Washington Wizards give up the most amount to the opposing shooting guard at 47.7. So that brings us over here. Where we go shooting guard. That's Miami. So Hero being out. We've got Rozier. Is Robinson going to be out? He's listed as probable. So he has not played for 5 minutes or 5 games. He's played Washington twice this year. Averaged 25.4 fantasy points per game at 5,600. Not the best. And then Rozier here. Played 2 games against Washington this year. Averaged 33.1 fantasy points per game. Not the best, and especially with Duncan Robinson being back, it's a little bit weary. And then you got Patty Mills. I don't know what we're going to get out of Patty Mills. Okay. 25 fantasy points his last game. We look at that. 3,700. We look at that as well. But with Duncan Robinson being in, it might skew it because, again, he's played Washington 3 games, only averaged 9 minutes there because everyone's been back. So that's one that scares me. So I'm off Patty Mills. It's probably Duncan Robinson because you're going to save money over 6,900 there, and he has had success. So just by pure, and this is the problem because as of making this video, he's good to go. He's probable. Might change. There are no notes saying how long he'll be in for this if he's on a minutes restriction. So definitely pay attention when building this lineup out. Small forward, Washington gives up the most, tied with Utah, 49.5. Toronto gives up 48.4. So we look at small forward. That's Toronto, Washington. So Jimmy Butler. But the fact that it is this big of a blowout potential, I love Butler here. Splits-wise, he's faced Washington 3 times this year, averaged 38.1 fantasy points per game, averaged 34 minutes. That's the problem. He might get pulled, but he's got a great matchup. But then we look at the other one. We look at Philly. Tobias Harris has a great matchup here. Played Toronto 3 times this year, averaged 42.4 at his price. I'm going to go with Tobias Harris on this one. Then we move to the power forward. Go to the chart, move the power forward. We look at Utah's given up the most, Toronto, Charlotte. So Toronto and Charlotte have given up the most that are on the slate. So Philly and the Clippers at power forward. So Kawhi against Charlotte. Batum against Toronto. Batum at 4,000. We look at his price, 31, or his minutes have been 31. He's gotten right around there. Splits-wise, he's faced Toronto no times this year. But he's 4,000. And again, this is a tournament pick. He allows us to build around and still average about 6,200. So then we move to the center position. Go through here. Washington gives up the most amount. That's Adebayo. I already know that. I'm throwing him in there. And now we can average 5,400 for a guard, a forward, and a utility, depending. So this is where we need to find those value picks that we kind of talked about when we went game by game. So look at 5,400, and we can go from here. But maybe Patty Mills, but probably not. Buddy Hield we talked about at 4,400. The games, it'll depend. He's playing Toronto. So if it'll load, maybe. Okay. Toronto. Coming off 20 plus right back there. Splits 1 time against Toronto, 50 fantasy points. So I'm going to throw him in there. The one I think I want to go with is, I want to go with Westbrook. He's going to be utility. What is Hield? Is he just power? No, okay, so there we go. So I'm going to go with Westbrook there. Hield here. And then allows us 7,000 for utility spot, which is great. We already talked about Westbrook and we talked about Hield there. So Kelly Olynyk here against Philly, I don't mind. Kobe White against Minnesota. Amen Thompson we could look at. Jordan Poole, probably playing from behind in this game. Against Miami this year, 3 games, averaged 34.3. Probably not with this price. But you can use all of it. Kelly Olynyk here against Philly. Splits-wise, I think he played for Philly at one point. He's only averaged 17 fantasy points per game against them, though. But I'm still taking Olynyk here. And that's a lineup. Not the only lineup, but that is a lineup we've built. And hopefully it brings you success. So that's a video for you for NBA. Don't forget to check out the MLB video for today. Don't forget to check out all of these articles. Everything on the website, everything in the description of this video. So that's what I've got. Good luck, and as always, bring home that bacon. Peace.